Okay, so 115 warm up. Okay. Basic Java. So a variable like usernum can store value. Okay. So any variable has a name and a type. Okay. The type, so it's going to say like int my num or something. The type that tells the computer what can go in there, and you only can put the right thing inside, or it's going to pitch a fit, right? Yeah. So ints are a type of number. Okay. So I have the variable type, I have a name, and then I put values in it. Okay. So we've got basic output with variables, and we're supposed to develop and submit this. So import scanner, new scanner system int user num equals 0. Print enter an integer. User num is going to be what did I just print, and then okay.
Yeah, I wrote system.out print user num. Right, that takes it prints out what the person typed in, right?
Right. So here, if you look at the second part, it says enter an integer. I type in 4. It says you entered 4. Yeah. And you're supposed to do the rest of these, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. So 4 squared. How do I get 4 squared?
I'm not sure how to do this on this
code. Well, in general, how do I square a number? Times it by itself. Okay, so I can do a couple things. I can make more variables, or I could just use the same one. Okay, so I could do a. Let's see if this works. We could do a system.out print ln. Okay, and we want it to say. First thing we got to say is you entered, right? Colon, and then a space. And then plus the user num, right? So that line, for me, line 11 is going to, because we right here, we store what they type into this variable that we created called user num. Yeah. All right. Now the trick about variables is you've got to give it some value before you can use it. So either set it to 0 or something, but you got to give it something before you can use it. All right. So we set it to 0, then we override it with this equal sign. So I said. So this says whatever I typed in, and don't worry too much about scanner commands yet. We're not going to test you on those. So user num gets restored to whatever I just put it. All right. So now this line is going to print out you entered 4. Okay. Now we need a new line. System out print ln, and it's supposed to say. Well, in this case, what's my number? So user num, right? Plus, and then in quotes. Squared is, and then a space, right? Because anything inside of quotes, it is just going to type on the screen, right? So user num gives me the 4. Then add to that in quotes, so just a space, the word squared is, then another space. And then what do I want to do? Well, how did you say I square a number?
Times by itself.
So user num times user num, right? So that should say 4 squared is 16.
The times is the symbol above.
Is the asterisk, yep, shift 8. Now, let's just, in develop mode so we don't submit it, run the program, and see what we got so far. Okay. Enter an integer. We got an error. Okay. If your code requires input variables, put them here. So what do we want to type in here? We want to put in a 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I got is enter integer. You entered 4. 4 squared is 16. That so far looks pretty good, right? Seems to match, right?
Yeah.
All right, now. How do I do the next one? Oops. How do I get the next line where it says, and 4 cubed is 64, right? Well, system out, which print ln. Now, print system out means come to a console window. Print ln means print and move to a new line. It's just like printing it and then hitting enter. All right? So in this case, I want to put the word and first, right? Yep. With a space, so in quotes, plus user num, plus in quotes, space, cubed is space, then what do I say? User num times user num times user num, right? Now, what else do I need to put on there, though, to make that line match?
What are you trying to get?
Well, what's at the end up here? So so far it looks like it says and user num cubed is 64.
You need
Exclamation, two exclamation parts, right? So here I'd go space, quotes, no space here, exclamation, exclamation, close my parentheses. Okay? Now, then, all right, so let's develop that and run the program. So far, it says that. That looks pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got to here. Now we need to do this part. How do you think we're going to do this part? These last 3 lines.
One second. I'm a very slow typer.
That's all right. I'm a very fast typer. I don't think I've, in 8 years of teaching this class, had somebody that can out-type me. Well, I mean, if I type twice as fast as you, then it takes me half as long to write, unless I make twice as many mistakes. So, now, here's the trick to good programming. Once you have something that works, you might as well write it again. Now, so from here, if you look at the top of the screen up here, the last thing we've already got it to do everything to here, right? 4 cubed is 64, exclamation, exclamation. So we need to do these next 3 lines. Enter another integer, add them together, then multiply them together, right? Give me the sum, give me the product. Okay? So how do I get a number from the user? I already did that, didn't I? So find it in your program and copy and paste it. Now, the part I don't need is I don't need to make a new scanner. Scanners take input that you type. I already have one. Use it again. This is where object-oriented programming comes in. So I've already got a scanner, and system in means take things from the keyboard. Now I have this user num. I don't really want to get rid of it, do I? So why don't we do this? Int user num2 equals what? What should we start our numbers at? We don't know what number they're going to put. What did we start it at before on line 6?
0.
0. Well, why change anything? That seemed to work, right? So let's do it. Now, what's the next line? It asks me for something, but what I need to change the wording a little bit, don't I? Right?
Yeah.
So maybe here, so I'm going to say system. So what am I going to, so Miranda, tell me, what am I going to put for this for line 19? It should look very similar to line 8, except I need to change the wording a little bit, right? So tell me what to type. Copying from line 8 as your basis. So tell me, what do I want it to say? No, I haven't gotten the number yet. So I need the number above. I need to enter another integer. So before it just said, what did it just say?
Oh, we're using number 2.
Yeah, because now we're going to add the first number and the second number. So first time it said enter an integer. Now I need to say enter a second integer, right? So I'm going to go system out, println, and then I'm going to say enter not a second, another, right? Another integer, colon, quotes, space, and a quote, right? That should do it, right? That should prompt me for my other number, right? Now, what's the next line? Underneath, what's line 9 say?
4 plus 5 is 9.
No, line number 9 in your code.
User num.scanner.
I need to save
Save that.
the number that I type in. But do I want to save it in num1?
No, 2.
No, I won't, because I need to save num1. So I already have user num2, just like I have in line 6. So I'm going to copy line 9, except I'm going to say user num2 equals scanner.nextInt, which says, give me the next number without a decimal that the user types. So if you put in 5 and then the letter A, it's going to throw a fit because A is not a number. All right, semicolon at the end. All right, so now we stored the number. Now, I need to do what? I need to say system out println user num, right, my 4, plus in quotes a plus symbol to print it to the screen, plus user num 2, right? Then what? A space and the word is and a space. And then what do you think I do? Oops, I forgot a plus sign here. It's going to throw a fit. So, right, so this says take the first number,
Is 9, right?
throw a space. Well, we don't know what they're going to type.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
Do you have to make it up? No, you don't. Oh,
Just
you-
actually add them
oh,
together.
just add 'em. Oh, okay.
So if you're printing things and you say plus symbols, it says take this word or number plus this section and stick them together and print it. However, I can actually do math in there because it knows that usernum and usernum2 are actually numbers. So if you put a plus sign in between them, it's going to do the math. Now, I am not going to show you how to do the next one. You have to come up with the last line on your own. But how much
4 times
different?
5, right?
Well, not 4 times 5.
Or the number.
Num1 times
num1
times num2.
2. Yeah.
So how many things do you have to change from what we just typed and what we had before?
Just change the end, right?
Well, I need to change 2 things, right?
Yeah.
I need to
you have
change
do
the math
that.
symbol, and I need to change the
Times, then you have to do that.
I need to change the symbol right here that I actually print to the screen. All right. So I'm going to in develop mode, I'm going to where it says enter program input. I'm going to say 4, and I'm going to put a space. I'm going to say 5, and we're going to run it. And let's see what happens. So mine's missing the last line. Uh-oh, got an error. Line 22, semicolon expected. I forgot a parenthesis somewhere. No, there's a quotes, 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 quotes. Uh-oh. Now we spend some time figuring out why it doesn't like it.
Oh, yeah, I think I have this too.
Oh, here's why. I forgot a space, right? I forgot a plus sign here saying add these all together as add these words in a big giant string. All right, let's run the program now, see if it quits complaining. Okay, so, ooh,
I have some other error or whatever.
it didn't add them correctly, did it?
No.
Oh, because since we started adding them as
Oh, I
words,
didn't find it.
well, no, it's going to do it all. So since we started adding them all as words, it's going to add them all as words. So here's what we should do to make life a little simpler. Couple ways. Well, let's see one thing. What if we put them in parentheses and see if order of operations makes it add them together first. Ah, that works, right? Order of operations, right? If I tell it in parentheses, it's going to do the math before it starts turning it into things to print. Okay, so this all works correctly, right? So I'm just missing the last line. All
So
right.
you just,
So
is it
behold
better
the
if you
even
type
fashion.
out? I think
Look at
we'll
this.
just copy and paste.
Copy and paste because you already know you typed it right.
Yeah.
So
And you
Control
just
C,
change it, you gotta change.
Control V. I got to change 2 things. I got to change this to an asterisk. I have to change that to an asterisk. All right. Now we're going to run the program with a 4 and a 5. That looks an awful lot like what they got up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to submit for grading. Let's see if I did it right. Boom, 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 boom. I am good.
Does it want? Oh no, it doesn't.
Because what it will do is it's going to throw in its own test answers. Notice here where it says it puts in 50 in the
Yeah.
test case,
Uh,
not necessarily what you work. So this is why you can't write in the 9 by yourself because it's actually gonna see if this thing really works. Okay. Now, it's on the links, but I'll show you a great place. Now, these programs, when you do that, now it's submitted for grading. And now I can go see that grade. So you don't have to do anything else. You don't put it on the Google Drive or anything. A great place, and it's on our links to practice that. I'll show you stuff like this. A fantastic resource is this website called Coding Bat. All right. So if you come here to our links and you go to Coding Bat Java, notice under Java, we've got these warm-up options and strings. So let's just for practice, let's try one of these. No, I don't want those yet. Basic strings with no loops. All right. So like for instance, hello name. So if I come here and it says, given a string, for instance, Bob, return a greeting that says hello, Bob. Okay. So this is now the difference between this. This is looks more like what an actual AP Java question will look like. On the AP exam, you won't actually ever have a main method that you run. You're just going to run little snippets of the program. So for instance, this is kind of like what we just did. So how do I print something? All right. So system.out.println. All right. And then in quotes, what do? I want it to say, if I give you something to start with, a variable. Now these are coming in here. So this variable right here is called name. So, but what do I want it to say before I print the name?
Type your name.
Well, what does it say? If I give you a name, what do I want you to return a greeting of?
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Bob. Okay. Now, these are a little different. We haven't quite gotten to this yet. But you'll never print anything to the screen because you'll also never print anything to the screen on an AP test. It says return, right? Return a greeting. So return, hello, whoops. Hello. And what else? Our variable. Now before it was called user num. What's the variable here?
Just name.
Called name because what's its type? It's a string, which just means a sequence of letters, right? So hello plus name. And we hit go, and it's going to say, oh no, it all failed. And here's what it should have said, hello, Bob. And here's what R said, hello, Bob. What's missing? And then it's going to try it with Alice. It's going to try it with X. It's going to try it with Dolly. What's our answer missing that their answer has? A space, all right? And exclamation. Now, how do I put an exclamation there?
You're going to make another quote?
Yep, plus an exclamation mark.
Why can't you just undo the non-quote?
Because quotes tell it that this is to just tag those sequence of characters together. If it's not a variable, for instance, name, that it's already been typed and given a name, the computer is going to assume that it's a command. And if I type in a command, hello, that it doesn't recognize, it's going to throw an error. It's going to say, syntax error, I don't know the command hello. Oh, whoops, that's because I meant for you to put it as a string, which means I just want you to put it on the screen. Got to put in quotes. Okay? So all of these are just like that. All right, so that was 115. Any other questions?
For use, do we have written tests in the library to do?
Not yet.
Not yet?
You have a quiz next week,
Okay.
and then you'll have an actual test to do. The first true written assignment will not be due this week. Miranda looks very sad. I can put one in there for her.
I don't know if you took it off. I don't.
I had said there was. I had put one on there. I have decided. I need to see everybody like once before I think we do a quiz. So. Any other questions on this assignment or any of these assignments? Did you have any trouble with the reading response?
I didn't do that. I mean, I'm going to do that tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have any questions on how to do it?
I haven't looked at it yet. So.
Yep. So if I come here, we've got a reading response, right? So the one from Wednesday. So if I go to it, all right, there's a file, okay, called APRR number 1, all right? So it looks like this. Download the file, answer the questions by reading the appropriate chapters in both books. All right, so if I download the file and I open it, it's going to look like this. So it's the first part is from the book Computational Fairy Tales. So in this case, there's 3 chapters you have to read. Start of a quest, The Darkness is Coming, and an algorithm for quests. All right, that's out of this book.
Yeah.
All right, and they're like 2 or 3 page chapters each. All right, then there's questions based on those chapters. Some of them, for instance, here is a direct quote. Unfortunately, it appears that Hanaldalus blank finished the entire sentence. Just copy it out of the book. Some of them are more broad. Computer science is inherently a blank. An algorithm is a blank. In your own words, describe what you think that means. Okay? Then you're just going to fill in the answers. Then you're going to save this as a Word document or as a PDF, and you're just going to upload it to this spot, and I will go and grade it. I will put comments on it. Okay? I don't know if you checked your other assignment. Once I grade it, there are going to be comments under what you got wrong and why, so you can go back and look at it. All right, so that's the reading response. Does anybody have any questions about, for instance, E116 or 117? Did they work?
Yeah.
Okay, did you put them in the Google Drive?
Yeah.
Did you put them in the Google Drive in a folder called Chapter 1? Or called, maybe you might have called it Introduction to Java.
Yeah, I think I can look really quick.
So the assignments are going to match up. So obviously this is chapter Introduction to Java chapter. This is chapter 1 for us, then chapter 2, 3. So you need to say chapter 3 or Introduction to Java, or then Objects and Classes. So I know where to find everything.
Okay. So it's, yeah, under my computer science and chapter 1, and then there's separate folders for E.
Right, a folder for E116
Yeah.
and the Java file for E116 should be in there.
Yeah.
And then a folder for E117.
Right?
Yep.
And it's the same name for
Correct, which is why you need 2 different folders so I can figure out which one's which. The one thing is don't forget to change the header, right? So up here, where it says author, version,
Yeah, I did.
you're going to need to add the assignment and any partners. So for assignment, so version is going to be the date. Assignment, you're going to say, like E1_16. Partly so that when they have the same, for instance, in this case we have 2 dialogue viewers, I know which one's which. Okay?
Is it just go under, like for E117, you would just say, do you have to add? Because I don't think
You do. So when you make a new class, blah, it defaults, BlueJ will default to give you an author and a version. So you just come here and hit enter and say at assignment, E1_17 at partners, none unless you worked with somebody.
Yeah.
Partners,
No, so under it says
partners,
author.
partners.
For author, and then it says under version, it says E117 already, and then the date. I mean, I put the date there.
If you put it, yeah, that's fine. As long as it's in there somewhere. Nice. Yes. So what we got?
The problem we just talked about.
The problem we just did? Okay, so this is back to 115. Okay. All right, so we got error expected. Line 17 is missing semicolon. All right, so right there, you got to have a semicolon that says that's the end. Yep, boom, that is the end of one thing. Otherwise, it's going to go int user num2 equals 0 system out print. And it goes, I don't know what 0 system out print is. So semicolons are like sentences. They say, this is one command. This is the next command. The computer, you hit enter and leave that white space. The computer ignores it. The computer could care less about how many spaces you've got. So it looks for semicolons. It says from one semicolon to the next, that's one command. And I know how to do that. I don't know how to do that and that all at the same time. Now try to run it. It should clear out most of them. The best thing to do in an error is fix one problem and see how many of your other problems it might fix at the same time. Okay, so not a statement. So you have a plus, where up here it should be an equal sign, see? usernum equals, and you said usernum plus. Okay, there we go. And then the other thing again, the other thing we added was putting these in parentheses here,
Which part?
right? Tell it, so order of operations, tell it to add these two together before you start making it a big word. Otherwise, if you get rid of the parentheses, it's going to print 45. So that says do that actual math, then turn it, because what happens if you add a string and a number together? So you add a word and a number, it's going to turn the number into a word, and then you can't do math on it anymore. So first, using order of operations, tell it do the math, turn that math answer into a word, and then you can print it on the screen. All right. Let's see what we got.
What?
Okay. Parentheses expected. System out print user num. All right. So right there, you're missing a space between user num and you want to print the plus sign, but you got to tell it take user num variable and add it to the plus symbol. So you just need to put a plus on the outside like this. So see, user num plus in quotes that string plus the next thing plus everything that's different, and then those will all tag together. So you need a plus on the outside of that and a plus on the other side of the, there you go. Doesn't matter. Again, spaces it doesn't care. So usernum plus in quotes a multiplication symbol plus the next usernum, and that says add all these together and make one giant word to print to the screen. All right, beautiful. I don't think 4 cubed is 256 though.
44. Why is it 44?
44 squared. Let's go up and find out why. Because
Do I need
Go ahead.
parentheses?
You shouldn't, but go ahead and put them in. It shouldn't actually. Oh, here's why. Because you did it 4 times there. That's why it's wrong. You
Wait, isn't?
cubed is 3, so you just have an extra one in there. That's all. There you go. Now it should work properly.
It's still 44.
44 squared is 16, so it's printing usernum twice. That's all. So go up. So print and usernum cubed, usernums plus squared. You entered. Submit it. I don't see why that's wrong. Submit it if it says there's an error because of that. Just send me an email and I'll fix it because I know that it's just being funky. But I think just looking at it, it's not in there twice. So yeah.
What did I enter?
For some reason, it's spitting it out twice. Why? Go up. It doesn't like your. For some reason, there's something in here that's messing it up. System out print you entered plus username. Yeah, yours it's written correctly, so I don't know why it's being funny. So just send me an email to tell me to fix 115 for you because that is correct. I don't know why it's just not interacting properly.
Yeah.
Are you using Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, it should be working fine, but for some reason it's just not interacting properly with the web browser. But your code is correct, so.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm still on 1.5.
That's fine. You have any questions from 1.5? Again, 1.5, the input, don't worry too much about it. Scanners and stuff like that, know how to use it, but I'm not going to test or quiz you on next int or next line or anything like that for quite a while. You will never take, you can actually use it on the AP exam. It's not expressly tested on the AP exam. And this early in the year, I want you to be able to use it, but I'm not going to test you on it. So anytime you do need to use it, you're just going to be able to copy it out of the program.
Just drawing a tree.
Ah, yes. ASCII art. Did you go to the link?
No.
Um,
As I go.
No, there's the, where was it? Oh no, it's, where, comments in white space? One of these had like a wiki link, right? No. Where was it? There's like a wiki. It's like Wikipedia ASCII art. Like some of these are intense. Yeah, like how good these people are. Like, so this is just
Wow.
this is just made up of asterisks and other other shapes, right?
That's weird.
Like look at some of these. Like these are like that's an ASCII art thing. There's one that actually is like a helicopter that actually works. And it shows you even how to like make shaded shapes. What like look at all these ones on the side. Like there's nuts. Like some people have way too much free time.
Yeah. Okay. So this
Mhm.
is what I got. Tree, right?
Okay.
I'm just wondering. Do you have to?
You gotta
do
match
I
that.
Submit it? Because
Well,
I think it's matched.
Okay.
Or do I have to do both of them in one?
Below the tree with 2 blank lines, submit for 3 points. So you would get 1 point here and 3 more points here. So then do 2 blank lines and then a cat. So the way you can do 2 blank lines, and what is this? This is ASCII art. So once you get your tree, which you have, part of the tree here, to do 2 blank lines, you can do the easiest way is to just do a system out print ln, a blank ln.
Blank ln.
So that essentially is the same thing. Print ln is the same thing as hitting the enter key, but here we're telling it to print nothing and then drop down 2 spaces. And so then you would start your cat. So system out print ln, and then in this case we want a / for the ear, and then we got to guess on 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 spaces / and we'll see what it looks like. And then the other thing is to just go like this, right? Control, like highlight and paste up to the quote, and then it looks like space 0, little 0, space 0. Oh, they're inside, right? So I need a extra space there and a less space there. And then I don't care what's at the end, so I actually can just close it here, although I do need my quotes, right? But I don't need anything at the end, right? And then same thing, quote, and then it looks like that's an empty space, right? All right, and then I've got a space equals like that, maybe another space and one less. No, maybe something like that. And again, if it spits out an error for your cat not being identical, I'll look at it, and if it's cattish, close enough is close enough. But so.
Okay.
Yep, but it
So
specifically said.
spacing.
Yeah, but it specifically said below the tree with 2 blank lines, make the cat.
Which
Okay.
is the major part, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
The part you want to get.
And then here's some hints. A backslash in a string acts as an escape character, such as the new line. So to print an actual backslash, you need to type that with 2 of them. So it's going to say that that's something special. So you got to read the directions and the hints. You've actually got to go 2 of those because the slash by itself isn't actually a character it knows how to use. So again, read all the directions and pay attention to your hints and stuff.
Okay.
The thing is it's not going to print it. So in this case, if I were to run the program, it's not going to print the first one, so everything should line up. See what we got. Right? So, right?
Okay.
Okay.
How did you do the doubles again, right?
Well, it's just 2 of them.
Yeah, it needs just 2.
Right, because if just the forward one though. So here,
Forward.
so
I'm just gonna erase
yeah,
this.
no, 1 like you had it, 1 and then 2 forward. Yeah, because 1 / is technically a command that it knows how to do, and it actually tells it something special is happening next.
But there's
So,
nothing there, so
but we actually want to print it. So say
Yeah.
skip it and then print the next thing it sees.
Okay.
So, but again, yeah, that's in your hint. So just read the
How many
hint,
spaces? Just like 4 spaces.
something like that. Yeah.
So then that and then double.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Figure this out.